I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet it felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? I got changed into normal clothes and went out to the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 of the boys practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle with the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Hey! Since I remembered Sam appreciated us cutting in last time, according to Damien anyway. All at once, the boys looked at me, frozen in their movements. I just stood at the doorway, staring at them after my outburst. James was the first to break away from the group, stepping towards me.
Good morning. We apologize if we woke you up.
No, it's fine. I've been awake for a while now. I'm sorry I interrupted.
It's quite all right. We needed to stop anyway. We don't want to overwork Sam.
Oh, come on, I can handle more than those pity punches.
Your mind seems grateful that we've stopped.
Hehe.
Shut up, Damien.
Oh crap, we should probably make some lunch. I'm sure you're starving.
I can handle lunch if you like. You all seem to be very busy training to beat Malix. I'll take care of it today.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, why not? I'm not useless. I know how to cook and do other stuff too.
Well, no, I wasn't insinuating.
What he means to say is that we'd be really grateful if you could make lunch today.
No problem. As I turned to the kitchen, the boys went back to training. They seemed very determined to get better and to become stronger. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make cold-cut sandwiches? Because why not? I assembled simple ham sandwiches for all of us. After I poured some potato chips on the side of each sandwich, I felt satisfied. Who said lunch had to be cooked? Indeed. I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focus on training. Find one of the incubi. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I looked down each hall trying to find one of the incubi wandering so that I wouldn't have to go through each individual room finding them. I pursed my lips in irritation. Where the heck are they? I know that I would have to search for them in each room. I turned to head down the west hall before I suddenly bumped into an opening door face first. Ugh!
Whoa! What the?
Well, that's one way to find somebody. I quickly stepped back, regaining my balance on my feet and with the food in my hands. The last thing I wanted was food on the floor. I shook my head and looked up to see Sam looking at me from behind the door in surprise. Being that I only saw his face, he was wet, so I assumed that the door led to a bathroom he was exiting from.
Oh, crap. Are you alright?
Yeah. I brought food. What the hell? Why did I say that? I shook my head and acted like I knew what I said. Sam raised an eyebrow before looking to the food I brought.
Oh, hey. Thanks.
Oh. Hello. As Sam stepped out from behind the bathroom door and closed it, I was suddenly face to face with a shirtless and freshly clean Sam. A simple towel was hanging over his shoulder as he looked to me. I remained frozen, unable to tear my eyes away from the sight. Damn, was he ripped.
Hey, you alright? Hello?
Hold on. Yeah, he's got some definition. I wouldn't say ripped, but he's got some definition. What? What? Sam let a sly smirk appear on his lips before tapping my forehead with his finger. It was light, but I still felt pressure from it to push me back a bit on my feet.
You gonna give me my food, or do you plan to keep staring into space like a nut job?
Huh? Oh, right. Here. I quickly gave Sam his food, glaring at him. He chuckled before quickly dropping to the floor and crossing his legs to eat. I did a double takedown at him before joining him to eat. I was hungry, so might as well. Sam must have been hungry because he practically scarfed all of his food down before I could get 2 bites out of mine. Jeez, you eat fast.
Oh, sorry. It was good, yeah.
Thanks? Sam sat in silence, waiting for me to finish. It was odd. It was not far from having a dog watch you while you ate. In the meantime, you put on a shirt? Nevertheless, I finished my food quicker than I normally did and looked to Sam, who somehow got his shirt and vest on while I wasn't looking. Damn, was he fast.
Alright then, I'm heading up to the roof.
Roof. Roof? He was heading to the roof? Why? What? The roof?
Yeah, wanna come with?
Hold on, he wanted me to join him? On the roof. The roof of a huge mansion? How? Why?
I promise you won't fall, or whatever. Okay?
Okay. I don't know why I was up for this, but I said okay. The small adventurous side of me was very happy with my decision, but another side of me was screaming at me, asking me why I did that. Sam took the empty dishes and placed them on a nearby stand before walking to a nearby window and looking to me. Wait, a window?
Come on.
I walked towards Sam, unsure of what he wanted to do. As I stepped to his side, he wrapped a tight arm around my waist and hugged me against his side. Whoa!
Better hold on tight.
I instantly wrapped my arms around Sam as he opened the window and stepped up on the ledge. I could feel him tighten his grip on me as he looked up and grabbed the end of the roof with his free hand. Oh, it's nice up here. I gripped tightly to him as he somehow was able to pull both of us up to the roof with that one hand. He lifted me to the roof first before pulling himself up and sitting with a content sigh.
See? I told you I wouldn't let you fall.
Yeah. I sat up beside Sam, trying to shake off what had happened. He was a demon. I had to remember that, no matter how human he looked.
Pretty sight, huh?
I raised my eyebrow before looking ahead of us. I gasped. The sight was truly beautiful. The estate was settled on a high hill, so the view I saw made me feel like I was flying. I could see Chicago in the distance, surrounded by forests and suburbs like the one I resided in. Something about the sight took my breath away. I silently thanked my adventurous side for taking the risk to come up here. You are very welcome.
You know, it's things like this that make the human world worth coming to.
I turned to Sam at his statement, unsure of what he meant. He kept his eyes to the view, but I could see very soft amazement in his eyes. What do you mean?
I'm not like my brothers. I didn't come to get away from anything or to fulfill something. Whatever they may tell you their reasons were. I came because, well, they're my brothers. And that's that. However, I didn't expect the human world to be so pretty.
Okay, so you didn't come here to escape anything in particular. I didn't understand. The brothers were running from more than just Malik's? What could have possibly driven them from where they were? You all ran from something?
We all had our reasons for leaving the Abyssal Plains. James didn't want to deal with his problems. Matthew wanted to live with humans more than demons. I came because I didn't want to be without my brothers. So I left with them.
That's rather sweet if you think about it.
It doesn't matter. I came, so here I am.
I frowned and bit my lips slightly. I wasn't sure if he even wanted to be here with how he was answering. Still, I felt a small wave of confidence drive me to scoot closer to Sam. I wanted to try to be friends. Fate didn't like that, apparently. I found myself losing my balance and wound up starting to fall off the roof. Ah!
Whoa!
Instantly, Sam grabbed me and pulled me to him. He wrapped his arms around me, making sure I wasn't able to fall back down the roof, but that wasn't what made me blush wildly from ear to ear. I had somehow landed and straddled over his lap. Scandalous. He was hugging me close to his chest. It was almost like a romance scene in a love story. I couldn't tear my eyes away from Sam as he stared up at me in concern.
I got you. You okay?
Yes, I am. However, I continued to look down at him as he stared up at me. Neither of us knew what to do, and I could feel that we were both lost in that fact. As we looked at each other, Sam's face grew slightly red.
Hey, I might as well say it now, but sorry for being a dick when we met.
I must have been dreaming. Sam was being sincere? Why? However, as I stared, I could feel his strength weaken. He was shaking, but continued to hold me to keep me safe from falling. Sam, do you need energy? Sam's eyes widened before he looked away, refusing to answer, but refusing to let me go. I didn't feel any energy drain, so he wasn't trying to take advantage of the situation. That was it. He needed energy. But should I give it? Kiss him. Kiss him. Even though I'm like, you two haven't really developed as much that way as James and Eric have up to this point, but maybe I'll start to ramp up from here. Who knows? I gently grabbed Sam's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Leaning in closer to him, I brought my lips to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. Sam didn't move, nor did I feel energy drained from me. I opened my eyes and saw Sam staring wide-eyed at me, but unmoving. He was unsure of what to do, and I had silenced him with confusion. I don't know why, but I felt both irritated and accomplished at the question and at the look he was giving me. Where was his flirting? Where was his cocky smirk? From what I remembered, he took advantage of me when we met, yet now he was somehow intimidated by me. I pulled away and spoke. I want to give you some of my energy. You've used a lot of it, and I'm sure that the energy you took from me was only used for healing. Let me help you.
I mean, I don't...
Sam, if you don't want my energy, just tell me. But I'm offering it to you if you do. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Sam pulled my body tighter to him. He regained his stoic gaze before speaking.
Just remember, you offered it.
This seems very dangerous. I guess it fits Sam, doesn't it? Before I knew it, Sam pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Sam kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hands on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining from the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in the situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. Sam gently leaned back, pulling me along with him so that I was laying on top of him. I felt odd, yet comfortable to be the one in control. Sam wasn't as forceful as he was when we first met, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss to be like, except with energy drain. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped and Sam gently pushed my face away to end the kiss. I stared down at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I forgot how to breathe. Well, I mean, you hadn't had a kiss until these guys showed up, so obviously you haven't kissed like that before. Sam moved a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear, eyes still full of desire. The look in Sam's eyes, though, I almost couldn't find the strength to pull away. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Keep going. I opened the opportunity, and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned down and kissed him again. Sam gasped against my lips, but continued to kiss back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand off from around my neck. He moved the ribbon to his pocket before gently unbuttoning the top 2 buttons of my blouse. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran kisses from my lips down to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. Sam was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Sam didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps rush out of my mouth into the open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Sam intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the sky start to spin almost wildly. I gripped Sam's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain on my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently in healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and Sam. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
Sorry, I went a little too far.
I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He went too far? I enjoyed it despite the first-time circumstance. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Sam. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes! 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still feel tired. It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still, I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly that next morning. No grogginess, no aches. Perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep? I looked at my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I must be lucky today. Karma owed me some luck. After all I had gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserved to get some good luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarms before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet, and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. I checked the time. 6:30. Perfect. I can eat some breakfast before they come. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs towards the kitchen. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate with eggs, toast, and bacon sitting on the table. A fresh steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with the sugar and creamer on the side. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Have a good day. Yours. My heart skipped a beat as I finished. I could tell it was from one of the boys. Maybe it was from him. I'm wondering now if this was from one of the boys, or if this... Because, like, a red note. You don't think Malik's, like... No, Malik's couldn't come into the house. I'm like, what if Malik's, like, made her breakfast just to, like, throw her off for the day? That would be really weird. I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. The food was so delicious I devoured every amazing bite. I looked at the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see Sam, who was holding my hand back with a stern look on his face.
My name.
Oh, yes! Please, tell me what your name is, and how it fits in with Bay, somehow, for when we do your epilogue. Your name?
My true name isn't Sam. I want you to know my real name if something happens.
His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? Sam gently pulled me to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Almari's.
Almaris. Almaris. Okay. Almaris. Alberis? No. How are they gonna fit Bay into this, I wonder? Almaris. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Sam pulled away and stared at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you're in any danger, any time, doesn't matter when, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
I stared up at Sam, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Sam nodded back before releasing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. Whoop. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed out the door and we headed to school, talking about the homework and the coming day. We made it into the school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to and got our important books and necessities. First incident of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, who were both waiting for me on the opposite side of the hall, something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. Whoa! Ow!
Hey, are you okay? Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lisette and her gaggle of girls. Lisette had a look of complete innocence, while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Why, you little... Suzu, don't!
I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lisette. Today was not the only time this had happened to me. However, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lisette was the mastermind just from the look on her face. She was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something. This time we're gonna get her. Oh. That symbol showed up again. I wonder if that's Diana's. Because, spoiler, from Eric's Fruit, I know that Diana's like standing right behind her. And she likes when we laugh at Sam and Matthew eating. I'd had enough. Blah! I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off of the ground and rushed at Lisette. I was not going to be the only one with scrapes this time. Oh my goodness. I tackled Lisette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks.
Holy shit! Anderson!
Sheesh.
Stop it!
Girl, I didn't mean it to go that far. I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull at Lisette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I'd had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults. All of that was going to burn in the past as I straightened my nails and hand across Lisette's face over and over. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Sheesh. Finally, Lisette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling.
Are you crazy? What the hell?
Oh dear. I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lisette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me. Or maybe I looked like the monster myself. But the gaggle of girls, Lisette, and even my friends had a look of pure terror on their faces. I have had enough of you, Lisette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. I charged at Lisette a second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her before glaring and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lisette raised her hands, ready to fight.
Then come on, Anderson. Show me what you've got. I bet it's not much.
This girl just wailed on your face for like half an hour, girl. I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my own fist, remembering my taekwondo. I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised a leg to get a swift kick at her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards me to jab at me. She had training. Not surprising. I didn't care at that moment. I bent back away from the incoming jab, re-establishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lisette threw jab upon jab at me, forcing me to block my torso and face with my arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lisette and I exchanged and defended blows at each other. It was indeed more than just a catfight. This was a vengeful duel. In my mind, all I saw was Lisette. All I wanted to was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silent but observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lisette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid to after seeing our skills and our individual fighting styles. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arm, despite both of them wanting to help me. They didn't wait long for it to end, though. Suddenly, Lisette was pulled away from me, and I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lisette hit the lockers as well on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. A girly grunt of pain? Hello. I looked up to see my art teacher, Miss Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face.
Miss Anderson, what are you doing?
Oh, good grief, Lisette. You cannot... You fought me for an hour! I looked to see Lisette being held back by Mrs. Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No! Don't you dare start crying, Lisette! You started this!
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
What is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lisette and Mrs. Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I am so sick of it! Leave me alone! Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Miss Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to keep me upright, as Lisette sniffled and confided with Mrs. Phillips.
I didn't do anything to her! She just attacked me all of a sudden.
That's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death. I try to keep everyone calm. Is that so wrong?
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Enough. Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Lisette followed, wiping her eyes in the feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Mrs. Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight to get at Lisette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lisette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lisette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me.
Come with me, sweetie.
You're really gonna call her sweetie after what she did? Sheesh. I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the walls. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing: the mirror in the very back of the room. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. That's pretty clever. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it.
What do you see?
That you have two different colored eyes, I'm just realizing, and you have opposing earrings. Pretty neat. Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked in the mirror and saw myself. Let me just take a better look at that. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
All right. What else?
What else? I don't understand.
Do you know what I see? I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
What does this have to do with what happened with Lisette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened with Lisette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulder, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me through the mirror.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves. Taekwondo?
Yeah.
You'll have to show me one day.
I laughed as she hugged me gently.
Look, don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was cliché to hear, but she was telling the truth. I needed to focus on myself first. I mean, this is all well and good, but are you actually gonna punish these girls? I mean, they fought for like an hour, scratching each other's eyeballs out and drawing blood and stuff. Surely that deserves some kind of reprimand somehow. Unless it's just like anime school, I don't know. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lisette. The fear about my family learning of this that had quickly appeared had vanished when she promised to keep me out of it as much as she could.
Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get into any more fights, okay? Now, head to class.
I mean, I guess she comes from a rich family that's got a big business, and she does well in school normally, and this is like her first thing, so... Maybe, but still. I nodded before heading to class.